Yeah, our broadcast is going to 1:40 today, Mr. Shorten, so just a few more minutes. Our next question, Miriam Webster.
Miriam Webber from the Canberra Times. Minister, you've spoken about increasing staffing caps at the NDIA. How many more staff can the agency have, and how will you ensure that they have the skills to provide the appropriate oversight of the scheme?
Some of this is all matters for that amazing beast called ERC, so I would never get ahead of myself. But we've got to go up. In other words, we've got to increase the number of direct public servants. And I've got a couple of reasons for saying that. Being a Commonwealth public servant is an admirable career. And I think that for 9 years, it's been, so you hear the language of just Canberra public servants, blah, blah, blah. And it's sort of been used in a derogatory approach. When I think about NDIA staff, it's the same as I think about Service Australia staff. These are individuals dealing with families trying to work out their future. So I think it's a fantastic vocation. And I think that we shouldn't rely on temporary labour all the time. Like sometimes you need temporary labour, surges in demand, of course you do. But we have a massive churn in non-NDIA jobs in the disability sectors, the local area coordinators, support coordinators, partners in community. We even have a churn in the NDIA, but not as great. So I don't blame people. If you don't have a permanent job and you can't see what's happening to you 2, 3, 4 years down the track, you'll go to a job where you are appreciated, even if it mightn't be the one you vocationally want. So I think that the philosophy behind investing in our public service makes perfect sense. And we're going to do that. I mean, as for specific numbers, I'll take that on notice, but I know we are there. I mentioned in my speech some of the call centre functions. They're great people working in call centres, but quite often they can't access the records because they're a contract call centre worker, not a direct employee. So it's double handling. So, and you don't actually save money by outsourcing all the time at all. That's a bit of that fiction's been, I think, exposed, that it's a very inconsistent benefit. So more staff. And as for training, there are a lot of good people working in the agency, just as work across all my agencies. But the more you invest time in them, the better outcome you get. See, one CEO or one minister can't deal with all the people that the agency deals with. But if we invest in our thousands of people in the agency, we bring in some of the people working in the disability ecosystem already know what they're doing in terms of, and they know the area and they come and work with us too. What I want to give participants, because it all gets back to them, the purpose of having a well-trained agency with specialised skills is it gives predictability, continuity, consistency and empathy. What I really want is for people to deal with the same person twice, and then maybe even 3 times. And then maybe they don't feel like they've got to explain their story again and again and again, which is fatiguing. I mean, I went to the brute face of capitalism the other day, the Apple shop, and that was fatiguing. And I just had a moment of what it must be like to be on the phones at Services Australia. Anyway, I digress. Your point's very good. And I think the more we invest in our public service, the more we train them up. And by the way, the sort of people I want to come into the agency, people with disability, not just at entry-level positions. I want people who maybe carers personally in their own lives and realise they're quite good at it and have a vocation for it. I'd love to encourage kids at secondary school level to learn more about disability. We've got to make it clear that disability is not just cleaning people. It's not just bodily functions of people and looking after them. It is about changing people's lives. So I want to, not just the NDIA, I'd like the NDIA to be an agency of choice in the public service, and I'd like disability to be a career of choice for young people, for people returning to work after a period of separation from work, for people with disability, and of course for carers who might, through their family experience, be geniuses at actually disability work generally.